We're ready, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mics are on.
That's right, I forgot my phone, can't turn it off.
All right, folks, we're going to start our town council meeting. Folks. All right, we're going to start our meeting. Now, first of all, I'd like to say that some of you may know or may not, but with the death of our son, I can become a little abrasive, and I want to apologize to council and anyone else that has supported me, and I need to do a better job taking the high road. So, saying that, but if you've never experienced a family member's death like your son or daughter, it will put you mentally in a tailspin. It is very, very challenging. Okay, so I need motion to call this meeting to order.
Motion.
Second.
All right, folks, we're starting our
We gotta
meeting,
keep
please.
Quiet.
I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Councilman Villanova?
Please bow your head. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for this day. We are so blessed to live in this wonderful mountain community. We recently lost a lifetime fire department member, John Hoffman, and are so appreciative of his service to Beech Mountain. We lift up his wife, Paige, and his family, that you will comfort them in their time of loss. We pray that you will continue to be with all our residents, our mayor, vice mayor, this town council, our town manager, and all the town employees. We also continue to lift up our world leaders that they may seek peace in your name. May God bless Beech Mountain, and God bless the USA. Amen.
Thank you. Pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance. Thank you. Okay, next is our public comment. This is a time for the public to address their elected officials on issues not on the agenda. The council is interested in hearing your concerns. However, speakers should not expect council action or deliberation. First up is Paul Tavalla.
Again, thank you all. I think probably some of you the wrong way tonight, but I appreciate what you're doing. Just wish it was a little better in some areas, especially concerning the convenience center and this idea of mandatory bear bins. Not here to teach finance, but I looked over the numbers and the business people on the council, and I hope you studied them as well as I read you have a 15.956027 budget, almost $16 million. Widener claims he's going to save $200,000, which is a randomly odd number, it seems. I'd like to see more detail on that. However, if it's true and you take the 200,000, divide it into the town budget, you get 0.0125 or 1.25% supposedly saved by shutting down the convenience center. I can't believe that other departments can't save 1.25%. But if they only opened the convenience center for 2 days a week, they would save 60% of that supposed $200,000. That's $80,000 to try and find, and that's a half of 1% of the town budget. A half of a percent. We've all had budgets in our families or business. When times are good, we spend. When times get tough, we can find a way to shave 1/2 of 1% of what our spending. And the $200,000 that's supposedly saved, is it really saved or just being spent elsewhere? Any government agency, and it's only human, in any business, people have put their budgets ahead of, my department needs this much money, my department needs this, and all that. I get it, but they all pattern. It's human nature. You have to, because things get cut back. And I personally find it very difficult to believe that they can't cut back 0.5%. For every $10,000 that any department wants, that's $500. $500 out of every $10,000 spent would keep the convenience center open a couple of days a week. And then try and force us to have bear bins. I signed a waiver years ago. Is the town reneging on this? Is their attorney prepared to fight those of us who are going to join me in the class action thing to keep it open? The town council, all of you, I respect you, and I don't know all of you, but everyone that I do know lives on a gravel road in a rural part of the mountain and has bear bins. So this idea to mandate bear bins and shut down the center doesn't affect any one of them. It affects me and anyone else that has a nice home on a nice road that's not as rural, and a big metal bin that's going to rust becomes like a pimple on the face of a nice property. I personally don't want to see more, the tourism thing can spend all money on banners and flowers and try and beautify the town. We're going to put up hundreds more ugly bear bins just so we can store garbage in front of our house. I don't buy it. And I don't believe the council has done their job properly as executives. If this was a business being run, it would be run where you could save 0.5% and keep the mountain, bring it back. I'm trying to make the mountain beautiful like it was before with my own properties, with my own sweat, my own money. And I refuse to have a bear bin. Now I also have some neighbors, there's no way possible they can put a bear bin on their property. It's virtually, some of them are here, it doesn't make sense. The council would drive around and see, and perhaps they have. But again, it doesn't affect them, it affects those of us who don't have the bear bins. I'm not here to preach, but I'm just asking them as executives to look into this a little better. I think their view is myopic. They look at their own street, their own homes, and if you drive up and down St. Andrews, Grassy Gap, Pine Ridge, you see there's a difference where people are trying to improve the appearance, the curb appeal of their home. Not curb appeal, not for resale, but just that we have to look at our houses every day as we go. And like I said, I'm sure every section of the budget has got to be padded a little bit. And yes, we have our sacred cows like the police department and the fire department. I acknowledge that. I'm not suggesting that they slash those, but they can find a way. When I had businesses, I had great times and difficult times. Found a problem solved. I found a way through all of them because I had to. Again, thanks.
Thank you, Paul.
Mike Mergio?
Thank you. Mike Giorgio, 101 Pinnacle Ridge Road. First, I'd like to thank all of you for the job that you do. I've been on that side as an elected official and also as an administrator, so I feel your pain and your glory as well. A couple of thoughts that I have, and one that I guess irks me and I think ties into what was just expressed, is that, you know, our tax revenue has increased dramatically, but yet our services and infrastructure appear to be declining. It just doesn't make sense to me. Ad valorem taxes increased by 66% in 2023 from 3.9 million to 6.6 million, 66%. And now we're talking about closing the convenience center for $200,000. It seems illogical to me. You know, I'm just wondering, are those employees going to be released, or are they just going to be reassigned? Has the town calculated the cost for running the trucks and the men to do that? Have they figured out the cost per ton doing it through the convenience center or through the dump trucks, the garbage trucks? And I realize nothing's going to change this year. You've already decided on the budget, but perhaps you can think about these things for next year. Also, is there another alternative? Maybe you put a gate up that we use our code to get into when we want to get into the center. The staff for the garbage collection is right up the hill. You know, we used to throw the garbage in the big bins before we spent the money and made the new convenience center. You could almost do the same thing. So you drive in, you throw it in. They have a video camera that watches what's going on, sees when it's getting filled, and they send somebody down to hit the button to compress it. So I just think that there needs to be some thought put into things like that. Also, I've been coming up here for 40 years. I've owned the property for now going on 9 years. The roads are in worse shape, I think, than ever in the 40 years that I've been coming up here. I mean, the culverts are in bad shape, and the roads are only nominally, 20 feet wide. If you're coming up and there's a truck coming, there's no room for you to even get to the side of the road in many instances because of washouts. And talking about garbage trucks, those guys drive around every day. They ought to make a list. Where's a pothole coming up? Because if you take care of the pothole right away, it doesn't get bigger and bigger. So, I mean, those type things I think can be done. Allocation of funds. Visitor center construction, the $1.9 million. How many people use the visitor center? Did we really need a bigger visitor center? I don't know, and I'm not saying that was a wrong decision, but it's a question that I ask as a taxpayer. Also, the occupancy tax of $1.1 million is transferred to TDA starting in 2025. Is that a statutory requirement, something that came in 25, that it's all got to go there? Now, TDA, they do support a lot of positive things, so I'm not taking away from that. You know, they help with landscaping, working on trails, mowing, Buckeye Recreation Center. I think they built a boat dock. So there are a lot of good things that come in it, and it helps the city. So I'm not opposed to that, but maybe some of that 1.1 million could have gone to the road repair. I know there's 750,000, I think, in this year's budget, but obviously that's not making it. And I really think it's incumbent on the council and the administration to look at those things. Where are you spending your money? Roads are extremely important, not only for us driving on them, for emergency response. It's just, how do we let our roads deteriorate like that? Parks and recreation. I love parks, I love recreation. They generate $97,000. Their budget is $1.3 million, unless I'm reading something wrong. That equates to a cost recovery of 7.5%. Now, normally in a small town, 25 to 35% is the average cost recovery. We're way below that. As a matter of fact, any town that's recovering less than 15%, the issue is either things are underpriced or underutilized. I really think we need to look at either how do we get that utilized more. I don't know the answers, but I'm sure that all of you have some great ideas. The next thing I'm going to talk about, and the last thing that I'm going to talk about, because I know it's a big problem for our community, is the water and sewer system. And I actually think that there's a way, right now there's $20 million that we have in debt service that we're paying. And I think the debt service annually is about $1 million. That's just the debt service, principal and interest. But we have a $20 million loan, basically. So what I would like to propose for the council and the administration to look into is the fact that there are, I think, a means for us to actually, for the town to generate an extra $3 million, which I think would help with the water and sewer. And somebody's probably saying, how do you generate an extra $3 million? Well, if you look at the case law in North Carolina, towns and municipalities can charge for people that own property that are not hooked up to it. And what that is actually, it's called, let me look, it's a reserve fee. So in other words, right now, I think we pay about $97, which is the base fee, regardless of whether we use any water or not. There's approximately 3,000 lots that are vacant. Now, if we started charging the base fee because they have that availability, that's there for them. The capacity is already in the system. And when I looked at the case law, it does look like other towns have done this. It was brought up in a court case, and then the state, or I'm sorry, the counties or the districts, the taxing districts, municipalities, were able to charge those fees. I think $3 million, now you may not be able to collect all of that, but the reality is, why should those of us that live here and pay that, and the 3,000 people that have that availability not help support it? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rob Duncan?
Last year I came before the committee or the council about an issue we were having on our property, and don't worry, I'm not asking you to revisit that or change your mind. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll turn this. Okay. Last year I came before the council about an issue my wife and I were having with the town. I'm not here to ask them to revisit it. I guess we've decided to agree to disagree. They had, and this has happened over the years, they were covering up granite monuments on my property. My father-in-law, who's deceased for 17 years, used to have to get them to come find them and dig them up. But recently, their projects had covered and misplaced some of our monuments, and we had to replace them and pay to do that. We tried to get the town to take care of it, and they refused. And the asphalt out here that comes along the parkway and comes back out, if you look, you'll see a pin, a surveyor's pin, where a granite monument used to be that they covered up, and the town's asphalt is covering it. So you don't need any more proof that they covered it up. However, I was talking to Daniel Davis this morning about a culvert repair, just to try to find out when he thought he'd get to it. And he brought up something I hadn't thought about, but had discussed with him in the past. The town is asking me for easement for a water line across some property we own further down the mountain. And when we had this issue with the monuments, I asked you guys, come over and look, I'll show it to you. nobody came. But when Daniel brought this up, I said, would you come down there to the property with me? I'll be there an hour. He showed up. We went through and looked at the property for him to consider how he would run the water line and for us to look at it and see how it affects the property. And I verbally agreed then, and so did my wife. Yeah, we're gonna do this. But imagine my surprise this morning when he brought it up and said we're sending the legal documents. And I thought, wow, what goes around really does come around. And then the Lord said to me, you'll be standing in front of me one day. Not a man, not a woman, not a council. And you will answer for what you've done. Now, personally, my salvation was paid for by Christ. I'm not concerned about that, but I think we will be held accountable for what we do. And also told me, are you going to use a wrong to correct a perceived wrong that was done to you? And the answer is no, I'm not going to do that. I still intend to sign and give the town the easement for that water line, because that's the right thing to do, and because you people need the water. And that's all I wanted to say.
Darcy?
Hi, I'm Darcy Steiger. I live at 124 Raven Road. And we've been here about over a month. And since we've been here, we've noticed when we first came, there was a sign, a detour sign in our ditch, and it's blocking the flow of water, and it's making a nice little pond right there, and it flows over the road to the property below it. And I don't know who owns that property, but it's at the corner of Pinnacle and Raven. And there is a drainage ditch at the corner of Pinnacle and Raven that doesn't work because it's all filled up with sediment and mud. And I have pictures for that. And if you don't want the pictures, I can send them to you via email. Now, the good thing is, I love the new plant house that was built on the corner of Beach Mountain Parkway and Charter Hills. Whoever's doing your plants this year is doing a wonderful job, and I thank you. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Darcy. All right, last but not least, Janet Villanova. Are you kin to anyone up here? Are you related to anyone up here?
I am.
Okay.
Janet Villanova, 142 T-Berry Trail. I just wanted to share our personal positive conversion experience. When we first moved up here in 2018, the home that we purchased did not have anything but like a four-sided wooden trash receptacle. So we saw that we had the option to opt out of trash pickup. And at that time, we thought, oh, we don't need the poor guys to stop by our house. We're capable, we'll just take our own trash. We thought we were actually helping the town. Sorry about that, but in our minds, that's what we thought. Well, when we were as a town talking trash a couple of years ago, it kind of came to our attention that we were not actually helping the town by opting out of trash pickup, because the guys, we'd watch them, they drive by our house twice a week, and I go, good to see you, we don't have any trash, So we made the decision as a family to purchase a bin. Well, now we actually, before we decided to purchase, we looked online, read the specs for building a wooden bin, because we live up here full-time, we don't rent, we could have just built a wooden bin per the specs on the website. But we decided to buy a bear bin, so we bought a bear bin, and it's magical. The town comes by twice a week. I no longer have to carry stinky trash in our car, and we no longer have to make a special trip up because it's only open from 7:30 to 3:30 and not on Sundays when we're on our way to church. So we were having to make a special trip. So now I just walk down the driveway, drop it in, it magically disappears when our little flag is up. And so I just wanted to say it works great. We take our recycling to the convenience center, and we probably do that, a couple of times a month, if that much. And here again, we live up here full-time, and it somehow works. So I just wanted to share that, in case anybody was teetering, does it work, does it not? It works for us, and it's a great experience. And I don't even notice it in our yard. I had to even put a yellow bright thing on it so that nobody would back into it when they leave our house. So it blends in. So anyway, that's our experience, and thank you to the council for what you're doing, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jack.
Still works. See?
All right, item 6 is the consent agenda. I need a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Old business, item 7.1. This is a public hearing on Emerald Mountain development / annexation. I need a motion to open this up for a public hearing.
Motion?
Second.
Would anyone care to speak?
What is it?
Chief, you want to?
Reader's Digest version.
Well, this is a required public hearing for an annexation of property that's outside the town up at Emerald Court. And it's the chance for the public to weigh in on it.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? All right, we're going to close.
This was how many meetings ago that we went over this?
I shouldn't be speaking at a public hearing.
Well, I mean, we've had this up for discussion for probably 3 months, maybe longer than that. So today was when we scheduled the public hearing.
Yes, sir, it is part of the published agenda packet of the council that's put out for background purpose. Council had this on your agenda at the last meeting in which, and the meeting prior when it was certified by the clerk. This is a proposed annexation for a 1.213 acre property that is a portion of the Emerald Mountain Development Block C Phase 2. And the first public hearing you'll have will be whether to annex this property into the corporate limits of the town such that it becomes part of the town, it's eligible for town services, it pays town taxes, and all the things that go with that. If you choose to annex it, your next step would be to apply a zoning district to it, because all property within town is required to have a zoning district. Staff has recommended that, and that is a follow-up item on the agenda. But for this public hearing, it is simply, does the town wish to annex this 1.213 acre tract?
Anyone have any questions before we close the public hearing? I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 7.1 passes. Item 7.2, this is a public hearing on Emerald Mountain Development rezoning of the annex area. I need a motion to open this up for a public hearing.
Motion. Second.
Anyone have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
This is for multifamily dwellings, right? Or a single family dwelling?
Preston?
Single family.
Single family.
So what's the,
Mayor, after the public hearing, staff would present,
Okay,
not during the public hearing.
okay.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Stand by. Yes, sir.
so it says town staff and planning board, extending existing R3A high density multifamily residential zoning to include the annexation area, so that doesn't sound like single family zone.
Mr. Mayor, the, what is and is not permitted in the R3 zoning is in your table of uses, which is located within this fancy book here. It generally is residential uses, but what is and is not permitted is either items that are permitted by right that have a P next to that zoning district. If it is a special use permit requiring Board of Adjustment review, that has an S, and if you see a dash, that is a use that's not permitted. So based upon what you have in that table of uses are the potential uses that could be in the R3A residential zoning district.
So that can clarify for me, that confused me. So is that high density or single family simply?
Mr. Mayor, I can go through what the R3A zoning
Please.
district permits. It does permit a multifamily type of use. It's also listed with what's permitted is a resort use in that district. Those are the two permitted uses under that type of zoning. It's a very limited zoning purpose, but it is residential, not commercial.
Okay. All right, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Second?
Any discussion? You guys have any questions?
No, this is just for the closing of the public hearing.
We're going to vote on it.
Close the public hearing.
Yes, so that was just your closing, those were your public hearings on the items. The next two items, 7.3.
Correct.
is whether you wish to annex, and 7.4 is whether you wish to apply the R3A zoning classification.
Okay, so we need to close the public hearing on item 7.2.
If there are no further public comments, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, item 7.3.
Would you vote on
Yeah,
closing?
We don't vote? All in
Yeah.
favor?
Aye. Okay.
Sorry about that. All right. Item 7.3, this is annexation ordinance for Emerald Mountain Development property. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Preston?
Yes, this is the ordinance to annex. To add some clarification, this is the back end of some properties that the Emerald Mountain has proposed for single-family lots. This 1.23 acres is actually the back end of those lots. The reason the zoning is the way it is because that R3A exists up there now, and we're just extending it out. Otherwise, we would be spot zoning that little piece, which wouldn't make sense. So,
So the existing property this annexes to is R3.
I'm sorry?
The property that's already, this is being annexed to is R3?
Yes, yes.
Bob, can you pull that plot map up? I think that'll help clarify to everybody what we're talking about. I think it's actually up in the public hearing.
Yes.
Public hearing?
Yeah, they didn't. I
Page
think the attachments are in the
51.
public hearing. We're in
51, right?
Yeah. So you see there, the back end of those lots is what's being annexed, that shaded area. You can see the existing R3A is all that area in there in the middle. So we're basically just extending that R3A down. And also extending the southern, that's the town border there. The hatched area is in the county currently. That would be the annexed area.
If you go up one slide, I think it's gonna show the actual, maybe it's the first part of the public hearing.
I don't know where you want me to go.
I'm on like page 39. There. The press, can you point that out up there so everybody understands?
Yeah, so the right-hand side of that would be the area that's in the county, so it's the back end of those lots that you see laid out there. So the Oz Circle is up here on the top left-hand corner. So they access off of Oz Circle, that's the back end that's being annexed. And all we're doing is really just extending the existing zoning out.
Okay.
It's called a rezoning because it's going from a county zoning to a town zoning. it's not really a rezoning, we're just extending that zoning out.
You guys have any additional questions for Preston?
No, I think it's.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Item 7.4, this is ordinance to rezone Emerald Mountain Development with the annex area. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Preston.
Again, yeah, this is the rezoning part of it. Again, we're just we're moving that line R3A over to include that annex area. That's all that's being rezoned.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the orangish area is the R3A, the yellow area is where we're extending that R3A to.
You guys have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Preston.
Thank you.
New business. This is a public hearing on year of 26 annual budget. I need a motion to open this up to the public.
Motion.
Second.
Would anyone like to speak on the budget? All right, I need a motion to close the budget.
Motion.
Are we just voting on accepting the budget?
It's a public
Yes.
hearing.
Just the public hearing, sir.
Just the public hearing.
8.2 will be your budget vote, yes. sir.
8-2.
Thank you.
And I need a motion to close it.
Motion.
Second.
Need- All right,
On public hearing.
all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Item 2, 8.2, is 2027 annual budget ordinance and fee schedule. I need a motion for item 8.2.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah. I mean, so basically, this is all three sections of the budget, including the enterprise funds. I mean, I've heard all the comments throughout the last couple of months, you know, if we approve this budget, we are basically closing the convenience center to a 2-day-a-week opening. 2 days a month, or every other Saturday. Every other Saturday opening
For recycling.
for recycling,
And
correct,
construction.
and construction. I think there's a correlation here between our bare bin regulations and our, you know, and just passing the budget. I think to me, they run hand in hand. What I'd like to see is we somehow tie in a discussion on the ordinances we have right now in regards to the garbage collection. And whether we do that here today or we set it at another time, but we need to discuss that, you know, the types of bins, you know, reopen that whole can of worms based upon what we're getting from the public right now. I'm totally in favor of this budget. I'm totally in favor of the new schedule for the convenience center. But I think by changing the convenience center, we're adding other garbage restrictions that need to be discussed. So that's where I'm coming from.
So my questions are around this, and I guess, one, I wish we had, you know, hindsight, had held our budget meeting in May that we didn't hold. Because I think a lot of this would have been clarified there with council discussion. So I ask, is it possible for us to pull the sanitation fund from the budget, pass the remaining part of the budget, and hold a special hearing just on the sanitation fund with the ability to pass it at that next meeting if needed?
You would need a special meeting if you're going to do that, because statute requires you to adopt your budget by June 30th. So whatever your budget, including a sanitation budget, has a firm June 30th deadline under the statute.
And if we look at the ordinance, we make changes to the ordinances, do those need to go to a public hearing first?
Generally, land use ordinances do require a public hearing. Other types of ordinances, such as public safety type ordinances, don't necessarily require a public hearing, but they do require at least 2 readings from council. So the short answer will be, you can amend your ordinances, but you probably would not be able to get those amended by June 30th.
Okay. But we could do a review in the first reading.
Yes, sir. If that's pleasure of council, you can hold off on your sanitation fund and approving that or addressing that until any date up to June 30th. But the statute does require you to adopt a budget of some sort related to that.
All right. So I think there's, I think the options that are out there, and one of the things that, I've been researching over the last couple of weeks is looking at other options other than just a fixed bin out front of the house. There are some rollout bear resistant options that are out there that have lockable lids, that kind of stuff that, I watched one video one day with a grizzly bear in Colorado jumping up and down this thing and it didn't open. And I get it, it's a little bit different thinking than where we've been in the past. However, and I think that we just need to kind of take a look at the ordinance as a whole, figure out how would some type of bear resistant rollout bin fit into the equation, right? And whether that's, limited, and I think it would need to be limited to just non-vacation rental homes. Putting that as a third option in there, right? Because you can have a metal bin, or if you live in your home full time, you can have a wooden bin, or if you live in your home full time, you could have a rollout bin that's wildlife resistant. I think that for me would be something that we need staff to kind of look at. I've got some information from North Carolina Wildlife that's on their website that I can send over. Then work that into the ordinance rewrite and bring that to a special meeting June 23rd, which would be 2 weeks from today, to get the ordinance process started so that we know that we're line stepping in here, that when we come into the first meeting in July, we could have the second reading on our new ordinance so that it would become effective, so that we've got another option out there. Because I think the concern is, from a couple emails I've seen, is the capacity to produce bins from the company that's making the metal bins, and or just having a constructed wooden one if you own your house. I don't know if the capacity's there currently to get that done by October 1st. And so then what do we do come October 1st? Right?
I hear what you're saying, but this is my concern, and I've shared this with a few other people that have called me, is that what about the 2,000 people? Make an exception for 100 people for the 2,000 people. The 2,000 people have spent, $1,000 on a bin, and now we're changing the ordinance, and I don't think that's good business.
I think it's practical.
You think is what?
Practical. We need to look at it as a 1981 ordinance. Things have changed since then. Hey, we may not change it, but I think we need to look at it.
I'll put my bin on Facebook Marketplace and get a rollout.
I'm not opposed to discussing it by any means.
Yeah, I think that's all we're at. That's all I'm asking for, is we discuss
So
it.
where I'm confused is, we're talking about an ordinance, but then we're trying to pull sanitation out of the budget.
So we're talking about two things here, correct? We're trying to pull, what I'm saying is that to pull the sanitation enterprise fund from the budget vote tonight, hold a special meeting on the 23rd this month, 2 weeks from today, 4 o'clock, and on the agenda for that meeting would be a rewrite of the ordinance, or not really a rewrite, but an ordinance that would include a rollout solution that is wildlife resistant, along with the vote and further discussion on the sanitation fund. And I think what I would like to see in that meeting, so that folks can see it, is a review of the financial model so that it's available for everybody to see it and understand why we're where we're at. Because I don't think when you look at the budget sheet versus when we look at the funding model, the thing that calculates where we're gonna be at and however long a period of time that's projecting to, is to clearly understand that, one, this isn't about tax dollars, right? This is about user fees, because everything about sanitation none of it comes out of your tax dollar. It all comes out of $39.70 a month that we all pay. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've used the convenience center 4 or 5 times since I've lived here, since December of 21. I've been paying for something that I don't use, right? And I think there's a lot of people that pay for this garbage piece of the convenience center that doesn't get used by the majority of the citizens. And I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not gonna say like, I feel bad about that I'm paying extra money for something I don't use. It's a service, I get it. But at the end of the day, if it's a service that is gonna require us to increase the user fee to maintain, I don't wanna pay more money. Like, you know, it just doesn't make sense. So that's where I'm at with it, is I think we
Let me
need
ask
to have
this.
it all out there so people
I
can
mean, do
see.
you have to pull the sanitation out of the budget?
That's where I was, what
Is,
does,
You wanna move
why-
the entire budget?
If we pass the entire
pass the
budget,
budget and then go
but
back
we,
to the
we come
ordinance.
back and look at the ordinances.
You've already made changes to the convenience center, have you not?
Yes, sir. Per council direction.
Yeah.
So we're back to that.
No, I'm not saying, we haven't talked anything about the convenience center. We're talking about the ordinances requiring what kind of garbage receptacle you can have at your house.
You're right, I'm sorry.
So it really doesn't affect the convenience center. That's why I'm saying, why can't we just leave the sanitation budget? Now, I believe what Michael said in regards to looking back and seeing how we got to the deficiencies within the sanitation department. That's totally fine, but the thing is, we have them, so why can't we pass the budget as the budget stands? But we got until October 1st, we look at the ordinances and we do public hearings and see about the garbage collection side, the homeowner section.
Yeah, it's not, we have to do a public hearing to make a change to the sanitation budget ordinance part.
Right.
To the sanitation ordinance. But I do think that, you know, we throw a number out there that says we're gonna save 200,000. I get it, it's rounded probably, it's fine. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, some transparency on what data over time is my favorite thing. And so if we're 77,000 in the hole right now, going into 1 month left in this fiscal year, right? Not even a whole month. Everybody being able to see clearly what that looks like, so they understand why we're taking the action we're taking. And I think there's a little that, like, because we didn't have that budget workshop, I really feel like we didn't put it up on the screen for folks to be able to look at. That's my only thing about pulling the sanitation piece out and holding it for a separate vote, is that we have the opportunity to show it and people can see it.
In terms of the bear bins, I've watched, I think you and I watched one video, and I've watched several videos, and the bears, the roll-out cans aren't attached to anything, they're not fixed to anything. The video that I think you and I saw, the bear was dragging it down the street.
And that's, you know, and that comes back to ordinance writing, right? You just gotta put certain things in the ordinance, like your bin's gotta be marked with your address on it. If you know, your bin gets, I'm being serious about this, it just becomes a zoning thing then, right?
So, I don't know, I think, I'm not trying to be closed-minded, I just think it's a very slippery slope, because the trash cans are gonna disappear, and
It's on the homeowner.
it will be.
But you're also talking
And they're all gonna
100
get
people that
fined.
don't have, you know, we're
That's
talking about
correct.
the 102 people.
But, you know, I mean, we don't have a lot of 25-year-olds up here on the mountain,
That's their choice.
and it is, but I think it's gonna create issues, but.
Well, I see no reason why we can't talk.
we do have
Absolutely.
two alternative places to take your trash if you don't
Yes.
want to put a bin.
It's true.
There's at least 4 different alternative places, and then we have recycling available. You got Banner Oak, you got Fosco, you got Buckeye, you got,
Kelly.
sorry, I'm gonna be Candlemas.
All right, guys, let's keep the meeting moving, please. I'm sorry, it's not public comment.
It's not public comment.
It's not public comment, I'm sorry. So, do we need to take a vote on this, on passing the budget?
Your pending motion is for passing the budget as a whole. You can either vote on that, you can withdraw that motion, or a motion to amend would be in order. Any of those 3 options are available to council. So that would be, the pending motion is approve the budget as presented. Council can vote on that motion as it stands. If the maker of the motion and the second wish to pull that motion, you can withdraw it and make another motion. Or someone could make a motion to amend the pending motion to be something else, and you would vote on the amendment if there wasn't a motion to amend. So those are the 3 options.
Who made the motion? Was Michael and I? Who made the motion? Who seconded it? What do you want to amend
That
it?
was to pass the budget.
I'm sorry?
That was to pass, yeah.
Yes, that was to pass the budget, was what item A2 is. You know, Chief Budney needs this budget complete, and I'm not opposed to discussing this and having a hearing. My vote is that we pass the budget as is, and we recircle on this, we circle back on it.
Do we have any ability to show the financial model tonight?
I do not.
So, all in favor of passing the current budget, say aye.
Draw my motion.
Okay?
I'm going to put a motion on the table as follows. Hold a special council meeting on the 23rd of this month, 4 p.m. in council chambers.
On the 23rd?
Yep. And that motion, on the agenda, I'd like to see 2 items. And I say the entire budget, put it there for a budget vote. It's not the first time we've ever had to do it on a separate time. And then the second item on the agenda is to direct staff to prepare an ordinance that would allow for the use of rollout bare wildlife resistant bins. To bring that to us for consideration and a first vote, if you will, that day. In that, I would ask that we have the model available to look at the sanitation fund to show to the public.
So would this be a public hearing or
It's not a public hearing.
Council.
It's a council meeting.
special council meeting?
Special council meeting. And it's just so that we can transparently show why we're making this decision, so everybody can put their eyes on it and understand why we're doing it. Because I don't think we've clearly put it out there.
Are we directing the town manager?
I second that.
I was just gonna ask, are we directing the town manager prior to that to give us the pros and cons and, you know, anything that might,
Yeah,
that we're not thinking about in terms of collection,
Yeah.
how we manage that
In
whole
regards,
process?
in regards to correcting ordinance, obviously, all that stuff would come in.
That doesn't go in an ordinance.
Well, I understand.
So I need better direction than this.
Okay.
So I'll bring you an ordinance, and it'll have a sentence. Roll out containers that meet some criteria. It won't discuss pros and cons. That doesn't go in an ordinance.
Okay. Can you bring into that to recommendations of staff?
And you do realize that by passing the budget either today or on the 23rd, the convenience center is fully funded till October 1st.
I do.
And you've got plenty of time to then properly review an ordinance and not rush it. But I'll do whatever you want me to do. I need to have a budget by June 30.
I agree with Chief Budden, we got till October the 1st, and I don't wanna make a bad decision or rush this, and it's gonna create issues.
Well, like I said, I'm in
Down the
favor of
road.
the budget as written on the proviso that we have this discussion. So if that's the way to go forward, I know Michael wants to see the financials of the sanitation, fund.
I mean, I've seen them, I know where it's at, but I think, in doing a budget workshop, one of the things that comes out during the budget workshop is that ability for the public to see what we're looking at, right? And so we didn't have a budget workshop, and when the sanitation piece came up, so we never really got to put it in front of the public to discuss why we're making this decision. I agree, I support the budget, don't hear me wrong.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we put out information that supports our decision.
So we didn't have a budget, to be clear, we didn't have a budget workshop because we didn't give our town manager any direction to make any changes.
That's true.
So, I mean, I thought it was pointless to have a budget workshop if there were gonna be no changes.
I can't speak for others, but I know that my recommendation was to continue with the workshop.
It was. All right, guys, we need to make a decision
We got a motion on the table.
to accept the budget. To accept this
But
budget.
look, I'll withdraw my motion.
So I make a motion to accept the budget?
You can.
I could do that.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right.
Question?
Question? Okay.
I assume you want me to bring back some information on rollout containers?
Yes.
And we can do that at the next regular meeting? Would that be fine?
It's fine. So
You want it sooner than that?
It's fine.
Okay, we'll do that.
That'd be good, thanks.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind, send us the
All right.
notes on the bare bins, just
So
so
the
we can read
motion-
through it again.
To approve the budget was been approved. I'm sorry, did you ask a question? Chief Budden, you're up.
Council and Mayor, thank you for passing the budget, and we can now fix the light bulb.
Now we get that light bulb fixed.
And that's what July 1.
Let me give you some FEMA update. Buckeye Lake and its associated Lake Coffee, major step backwards with FEMA. They denied the town's request for funding the repairs. We're now considering an appeal. The inconsistency and lack of guidance from FEMA with bad
Please, do we have no
information.
talking, please?
With bad information has put the recovery at risk. Repairs to Buckeye Lake and the water plant are on hold, and we're considering all options. So what that means is, we've got a meeting tomorrow. They're bringing in some high-level FEMA people to meet with us. It's a public relations thing on their behalf because they've denied our request. The issue is that the repairs to the Buckeye Lake, the dam, the spillway, as well as the water plant intake, FEMA has deemed that to be non-eligible and use some obscure policy in my opinion. So the bottom line is that we have some options. We can appeal. There's a number of things that we can do. We're weighing those options now with our consultant and our engineers. Basically, we wasted, in my opinion, about 90 days and $10,000 of attorneys or engineers' fees. We didn't pay the attorney anything. To get this answer from FEMA. So it's really bad news because it puts the community is at risk every day, and it puts us just that far behind the ball. So we're reconsidering our processes and where we're going to go. It's a good chance that, Mayor, I'll get with you and the council, and a more political solution needs to be obtained because the bureaucratic solution isn't working.
Did our consultants, I mean, where are they stand on all this? I know they're trying to,
Well, we
Agri group, sorry.
met today again, and They're as frustrated as we are. They see the language that's used, the policies that are used from FEMA, and in their experience, this is I don't want to say an excuse, but an easy way out for FEMA not to spend tens of millions of dollars in the town of Beech Mountain. It's justified on our behalf. You know, if I didn't believe this was 100% eligible, we wouldn't be pushing it as hard as we have. But that FEMA has dug their feet in the sand. So that brings me to Charter Hills and Buckeye Creek Road.
Before we go further,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Has North Carolina Emergency Management got anybody at the table
Yes.
during all this?
Yep. I forget the gentleman's name. Thomas Bennett. Charter Hills and Buckeye Creek Road, those slides are under contract. We should be issuing a notice to proceed next week, and work will begin this month. It will take about a year of construction to repair those two slides. We're going to do Charter Hills first. You should know, based on what I just told you, that we're funding this at a tune of almost $4 million with the hopes of being reimbursed by FEMA. And we're doing that with funds that are through a cash flow series of loans we've gotten from other state entities. We can't do that very often, but in this particular case, we can't wait much longer, in my opinion, particularly with Charter Hills.
Now, these are approved FEMA repairs?
Oh, yeah, the repairs are approved. The procurement process, which was cumbersome, was approved. What's not approved is the reimbursement. So that brings me to the Pinnacle Well. The Pinnacle Well, it's still blocked, as you know. We attempted to frack it. The device got stuck in the well. The well's been fouled. We've reached an agreement with the contractor. There will be no charge, obviously, for the failed fracking. He's going to drill a new well. We're waiting on the state to permit the new location. It'll be within feet of the existing well. And we'll, when that's complete, run the drawdown test, and we'll get back to where we were before we did this fracking. In FEMA's denial for Buckeye Lake, that well was included. So that, again, will be on the town until we can remedy that. All bad news. The town was told by the state that the FEMA Phase 2 grant for Lake Coffee was denied as being ineligible. And they listed the fact that we didn't tell them there was a dam involved. The 30, 60, 90% drawings were of a dam. And all the detailed analysis and all the engineering and things that we submitted were of a dam, a very large dam. And so we're moving through that as expeditiously as possible. Good news, our settlement with the HR Rentals company, they were the ones that failed at the dredging process at Buckeye Lake and with the clarifier. We've reached an agreement which you approved. Town attorney drew that up. We had a meeting today. That agreement is being signed and executed, and I was told we'd have payment back to the town by the end of the month. So that was good news. Check's in the mail, though.
Yeah.
Lake Coffee, if you've been over there, it's drained. We're draining it as quickly as possible. Actually, it was refilling today quicker than it was draining. But we get those soil borings in there that were approved by FEMA, but we haven't seen any obligation of funds. So once we get it drained, it'll be interesting to see if that machine, that drill machine, can make it across the bottom of Lake Coffee. So if you want some entertainment in the next couple days, go by Lake Coffee and see what's going there. Our road projects, water and sewer work will continue over the summer or into early fall months. We have contractors that are working through their contract. They're currently on Chestnut. They're doing Clubhouse, making a mess, getting a lot of calls about that. And as it was brought up today, the reason the roads are in bad shape is we had a storm called Helene, and FEMA is supposed to reimburse us or pay for those repairs, and those have been delayed as well. So we're well aware of the condition of the roads in the town. Opening Shane Park bathroom, that facility should be open by the end of the month. It will have access to the lake and to the walking trail. The parking lot will not be accessible. That's going to be a construction staging area for the Buckeye Creek slide, as well as the culvert crossing at the creek. We just completed relocating the electric utilities there, and we're down there trying to remove the debris that the power company left. So that's good news. The first farmers market went well. It was Friday. The next one is scheduled for July 4th. They tell me they're going to have July 4th farmers market, going to have the slip and slide, going to have fireworks. So July 4th is going to be a big deal up here.
This was on Saturday?
It's on a Saturday. So I don't know. July 4th activities, fireworks, and that information can be found at the Visitor Center in Parks and Rec. And the last thing I've got is I wanted to touch base with what Alan said in his invocation. You know, we lost John Hoffman, a lifetime member of the fire department, a staple at Fred's Mercantile. I knew John when he and I were firefighters in Florida. And just keep Paige and his family in your thoughts and prayers. That's it.
All right, council comments? Alan?
Yeah, I just wanted to express that when you have questions about the town, if things are, you know, sometimes things get broadcast, and if you have questions, we would ask you to contact either a council member or the town manager to get clarification if it's about a dollar amount, if it's about things, activities that are going on regarding roads and culverts and all the other things. Please contact Chief Pudney, because it really is, we try to be as, you know, transparent as we can, but the man over there has all the answers in his head, and he deals with it day to day, and we talk with him quite often, but he knows what's going on, has a pulse of the town. So please, if you have questions or concerns, I wish you would address them to the chief or one of the council members. And thank you for all being here today. I appreciate it.
Last week, I had an incident on the Beach Mountain Parkway. I was going down the parkway at 5 minutes to 8 in the morning, turned the corner right by High South, and this massive tree comes out of the side of the road and decides to fall across the road. I mean, 2 seconds either way, you know, I could have been under it. But anyway, I immediately called Beach Mountain Police Department, the non-emergency number, informed them that what was going on, that the road was blocked in both ways. I started texting Chief Pudney, but I guess he heard from it pretty quick. Within 10-15 minutes, there were 6 public works guys with chainsaws and a backhoe on site. And it was a massive tree, and if you go by it, you can see it, it's smashed the guardrail, the whole works. But it was 40 minutes from the time that tree fell to the time that the parkway was open in both directions. And it was all because of the people who work within this town. You know, I know they called, it's a state road, it's outside our district, it's not something we have to maintain. But when we called the state, I heard they said we'll be there in 4 hours. And, you know, I'm sure the people of this town would not have been happy with a 4-hour closure of the Beach Mountain Parkway. So I again recognize the Public Works Department and Chief Pudney for making things happen. They don't have to always do it.
Stafford?
So last month, I missed thanking the police department during Law Enforcement Week. I don't know if any of us did. And then my alma mater, EMS, was the following week, and I missed saying congratulations for EMS Week to everybody. So I think I was in budget tailspin. You know, we passed a budget tonight. I get it. It affects more than 102 people. There's a change that's been made that'll take effect October 1, and thank you for reminding me of that, Bob. I think that, you know, there are other options, and I think we need to put all the options on the table when it comes to garbage. You know, here I go talking trash again. But I also want to take a moment and thank Bob and Steve. They spent about what was supposed to be a 30-minute meeting, about 2.5 hours with me going through the sanitation budget and understanding, you know, where it was at and what was going on. And, you know, again, it's not part of what we pay in property tax. It is what we pay every month with our water bill at $37.90. And I'm hoping that, you know, it's unfortunate, right, that we're gonna go down this path of going to every other Saturday after October 1st. I'm sure we'll see a schedule. And it's a reduction in service, in my opinion. Some will say, well, we provide the same service curbside. I get it. However, I hope that in the near future, after October 1st, we see a fee schedule come back to us and we find a way to reduce that $37.90, so that we're saving all of us that pay for sanitation a little bit of money. So we'll see how that works. All I've got.
Vice Mayor?
Short and sweet, I know can of worms I'm gonna open. I'm glad we passed the budget. I think it's a big step forward for the town. Best information you can find is on Town of Beech Mountain website. So whenever you have questions, you wanna look things up, even taking a look at the full packets that we get, it's all on the website. And you can pull all that up and read through it. And then that way you get correct information. My usual favorite little thing, there's now a Helene exhibit at the History Museum. So if you haven't stopped by in a while, you need to stop by and take a look at that.
So the tree limb?
Yeah, no, the tree's there on the parkway. I got stuck in that too. And that's it for me.
I just want to thank everyone for coming and participating in our meeting and sharing your comments. This meeting's adjourned.
It's actually shorter now.